Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Neil Thrussell, author of Chasing Success, and I'm really excited to have Dawn Dancing Otter with me, who is a mother to two wonderful children that I've had the privilege of meeting, a ritual ceremonialist, a dancer, a yoga coach, and an international teacher. Welcome, Dawn Dancing Otter. I stumble with that because I always call you Dancing Dawn Otter in my mind.
You wouldn't be the first. You're probably not the last. Many people say it that way.
Because yeah, and I love the name. So yeah. So I'm just gonna jump right in. The younger you, pre-children, whether it's out of university or whether it's just fresh out of high school, you had a vision of what success meant and felt to you. What was success to the younger version of you?
I think I would have centered success around acceptance and credibility, and that meant a lot to me at the time. Having people trust me at my word for my expertise, that was important, and to feel a sense of community and belonging, that felt important, because that hasn't always felt obvious to me. So I would say that's my version of early success.
Wonderful. And so the version of success that you currently hold, what does success feel like to you or mean to you now if you were to define success?
I really feel a gratitude towards my life because my life feels like a better success than I would have dreamed about, from that younger version of myself. That I live right at the shores of the Salish Sea. I live in Lekwungen territory, which is colonially known as Victoria, BC, and it's so beautiful here. And I get to do what I love all the time. And not that every part of it is easy. Certainly, most of it is challenging, but I would say I love it with all of my being. I get to work with people I care about. I have a family that uh, I have nothing but good things to say about my children and who they are as humans. And I have friends that I care deeply about, and uh, my life is pretty beautiful. I would say um, the majority of things that I get to experience are um, they're part of my passion, and so I feel that that is, if you were going to distill what success is defined to me now, I would say, passion is an enormous part of success and feeling engaged with passion.
So passion in the positive, because passion can be this fiery, angry person, or passionate is in this positive, uplifting, nurturing.
Yeah, that's a good distinction, Neil Thrussell. Um, I would say that passion comes with its catalyzing forces, for sure. I also think passion leads us in directions that, are actually heart centered. Um, and that our heart doesn't always tell us the least complicated way to do things. And it also doesn't always keep us from being in conflict. And if I were thinking about the the goddess Maeve from the Irish teachings, she was certainly a woman of great passion, but also a woman who was not afraid of conflict. And conflict, I believe, is a very powerful motivating force. If you center compassion with it, that if you're fighting for something that is, I believe, bettering yourself and bettering the world, then I think passion is a really positive thing. And I think even conflict is a powerful thing that way.
So from the young Dawn, that sounded like there was a little bit of needing to belong and insecurities to this beautiful, vibrant woman that's before me. It was just an easy sailing path. There was nothing. It was just like you had this glorified plan and you just went step one, step two, step three, step three. It was just linear, right?
Oh, oh well, I'm grateful to say no. I'm grateful to say no, and I say grateful because at the time, of course, when I was going through uh, major stuff, I wouldn't have said grateful, but I'm really grateful that the steps along the way have come with a lot of challenge, because I come with a lot of muscle to flex now, and I have a great deal of flexibility around what I can offer because I've been a lot of places. And belonging, I believe, is at the center of what is needed for all humans. I think it's at the center because it is attached to all the things that we consider to be life giving.
Yeah.
And I felt like the odd duck uh, right from the hop. But I also think that that is part of what has been character building for me, because um, I haven't defined my my heart by the standards of other people, and I haven't weighed my consciousness against the standards of other people in the same way that I might have if I had kind of belonged uh, off the hop in this very like accepting, like ultimately accepting way. Um,
Yeah.
and so anyway, yeah, I've
Yeah.
had lots of heart hurts around that.
That's beautiful. Because what I hear is, I'll make this scenario up. Somewhere in your life, you were told, and I'm making this up whether it fits or not. You were told you needed to do the 9 to 5, white picket fence, the kids, whatever. And what I heard in you is that your heart had you moving away in different directions at various times.
Mhm.
What gave you the strength to follow your heart?
Oh, that's such a good question. Um, I don't know that I had any other real available choice at the time. Um, I mean, I could have chosen differently, I think, but I think when people offer you two painful things, um, we tend towards the painful thing that's more affirming than the painful thing that's less affirming. And for me, following, being a pioneer of my life, let's put it that way, um, it took me away from trying to belong to something that felt wrong, into belonging to something that felt life affirming. And I would say that I'm in deep belonging now. Like I'm in deep belonging in every aspect of my life. Whereas I was in deep rejection in a large part of my life, without pointing fingers at anyone. And uh, that felt very painful in a non-affirming way. So if I had kept trying to belong, um, the conflict and the catalyst, I think, would have taken my life. Like I think it would have wiped me out.
Hmm?
Um, to be frank, because what becomes affirming in the adventure is your own power, and I have learned how powerful I am, and I also don't mistake that. I also don't not know that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That's an interesting concept about learning about your self power, because it's no one, to my understanding and my thought, no one learns about their power unless they've been cut, unless they've had hurt. And it's through the ashes, the phoenix, that we rise up, and because we've burnt it. Do you think that every uber successful person at somewhere, whatever you choose to define ultra successful, uber successful, the Oprahs, the Elon Musk, the rock stars, the sports people, the celebrities, however you define success, the best dad in the world, do you think that they've learned to rise up from the ashes?
Um, yeah, I think, in a short answer, yes. I also think that one must have some positive folk in your world, because we don't do anything by ourselves. And I had positive folk in my world. Like I had people who loved me. And I don't think that we get anywhere that we go without some measure of mentorship. I'll just name. I have an uncle who has passed into the ancestors realm in 2016, named Moon Mullins, and Moon loved me. He just loved me, and he taught me, and he gave me so much just absolute acceptance. Like, it wasn't like, just because you are like this, I accept you. It's just because you are. And that kind of validation, I believe, is how we survive trauma. Because without some medicine, without some nourishment, without a safe place to be, we can easily be wiped out in those ashes, that those ashes claim many people.
So what I'm hearing is that you believe that all success, or all people, if they want to, even including if you want to be successful, you need that positive influence. You need that tribe of mentors, supporters, unconditional people that love you, and just people on your team or
You,
community.
you need at least one. You need at least one, because how can you face what we face? Each one of us moves into life facing an insurmountable challenge, you know, things that take us down in so many ways. You can't really survive without at least one person who is cheering for you. And I actually see um, those people in my world, and they don't often get so acknowledged, because
Mhm.
they're maybe, not taking a lot of credit for themselves. But I see those people in my world, and I appreciate them so deeply. They might be happy for me to be the visible human, you know, um, for various reasons. Maybe I have more resilience to
Yeah.
conflict, but the people who cheer me on, I walk because. Yeah.
And it's interesting. The spiritual symbol is the snake. The orbis is that eating. Because on one hand, we need the power and the fortitude to lift ourselves up, and equally, we need someone. Sometimes it's just someone being there and lifting us up. So it's an interesting um, relationship, that sometimes it has to come from entirely within, and sometimes the smallest help from another is all it takes for us to develop our own power, and somebody to believe in us, and for us to rise. So yeah, thank you for sharing that wisdom.
Mm.
So success is a crazy concept, and it's so overarching and so overwhelming. But sometimes people can define what success doesn't look like. So what is success, the lack of success, or what doesn't success look like to you in your mind?
Oh, that's such a good question. You are full of good questions, Neil Thrussell. That I believe if you crawl inside of someone else's skin and pretend to be something you're not, I believe that is a deeply disempowering experience, and people do it over and over again. And I see it in so many different ways, again and again. People trying to be something they're not, and betraying themselves, and betraying their heart, and also betraying the people who cheer for them. Because in lots of ways, those people who cheer for us, they don't just want us to survive, they want us to thrive in this world. And to me, that is part of what we can define as success: is, are you thriving? And if you're sitting inside of somebody else's vision and you're underneath that surface, and you are unbecoming, how is it that you can thrive? And I can see that we can look at big success stories like Elon Musk and say what you want about him. He's a big success story. Is there anyone like him? I think he's right inside his own skin. I see artists and, DJs and like musicians and people who create art on the sidewalk, and they're right inside their own skin. And one must see how vital that is. And I would consider that to be success by your own standards.
I love it because yes, I agree that the lack, like you can be successful on all exterior, the wife, the kids, the cars, that, but if that's not your version of success, that to me is quite the opposite. If you are living my dream and it's not your dream, so get that, that's, yeah, that it's, we're not, we need to be an authentic, our authentic selves and show up. And as you had alluded to in previous conversation here, that it sometimes can be painful. Because
It's often painful. It's often. I mean, like, it's not even just sometimes, it's often painful. It's like when you go to the gym and you're really lifting heavy, you're going to build some real strong muscles, but it's not without its painful moments for sure. And often. And that's a sign of growth.
yeah, because
Hmm.
and anytime we get out of our comfort zone, drive a new way somewhere else, do something that was not within our realm, walk down into a neighborhood that we wouldn't normally go, any of these things. So yeah, so I can't believe we're, oh my, oh my goodness, yes, we're almost at 20 minutes. And is there something that you would like to share with our listeners and our viewers as we, just before we leave?
Get to know your ancestors, because they will teach you everything about what has success has looked like. And there are gifts there that you may never know. And they have prayed for you to be here. And so get to know your ancestors if you can. You'll know those songs, you'll know those prayers, and you'll feel the affirmation. Mhm.
Thank you. And I just want to say thank you for taking the time, Dawn Dancing Otter, for being here. And I know there's other hundreds of other opportunities that you could have chosen to do. So thank you for choosing to spend time with me and my viewers and listeners.
I have so much love for you, Neil Thrussell. You and Tina Thrussell are a couple of my favorite people. So sending love right to you, Thrussell folk.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.